This is the border crossing at Fish Gabor between Syria and Iraq. We're on the Syrian side here. It's actually a real nice building. And over that direction, beyond the trees, is Iraq. You can see the Euphrates River back there. And so we'll be driving across the Euphrates shortly on a floating bridge. And this is the way you get back and forth from Erbil to Syria and back. In recent days, there have been a lot of U.S. military that have been crossing the Euphrates on their way back to Erbil. Yesterday, the U.S. pulled out of another one of its bases in Syria, northeast Syria, and then after they pulled out of that base, they just left everything. You know, there were a lot of permanent structures there, and they bombed the base from the sky in order to just make it not usable for any other force, so that the Russians or the Turks or anybody else could not go in and make use of that base at some point in the future. It's kind of highly inefficient, to say the least. It's definitely expensive. Of course, we've sunk hundreds of millions, if not billions, into building these bases, and rather than just lose all that money and leave it all behind, we are dropping bombs on it to make it unusable for anybody else. So we're spending tens of millions more in bombs and equipment and stuff to destroy all the stuff we're leaving behind. But if you think about it, and you go back to the withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2001, the $86 billion that we left behind was egregious, profane, but the fact that we left it there and gave it to the Taliban, our enemies, and now it's being proliferated around the world because those things are durable and fungible. Helicopters, night vision, body armor, weapons, even computers and things like that. All of that left behind. I guess it might have been a good investment for us to spend a few billion more to destroy all that stuff, put it all in a big hole and bury it or something, so that it wouldn't be falling into the hands of our enemies for the next 25 to 30 to 40 years. I mean, there are still Vietnam-era weapons that are killing people in places like Burma and even finding their way to places like Mexico. And that's because we left weapons behind when we pulled out of there as well. So all of that proliferation is not a good thing in many ways, because it loses Americans money, and not only loses Americans money, but ends up shooting back at Americans at some point in the future. So that's something that future leaders ought to be thinking about. Kudos to President Trump for thinking about that, for the U.S. Pentagon, for not wanting to leave that stuff behind, even though it's painful to watch them spend millions of taxpayer dollars to destroy more millions of our taxpayer dollars here in Syria. Probably would have been better, I think, overall, to actually leave troops there, because what we're doing is we're abandoning our allies, the Kurds, yet again, and telling all of our allies when we do that, that we are not to be trusted as allies. And that makes America a little more isolated and a little less safe around the world. So there's that. All right, that's all I've got for now. And stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more coming as soon as I get out of here and have some time to start editing the stuff that I saw while I was here. So from the Euphrates River, I'm Chuck Holton. We'll see you.